Okay, looks like we're live. Let's see. Let's see how we're doing. YouTube, are you YouTube, you've been my favorite person as of recent. By the way, YouTube. You made my Thursday awesome. Rockfin, what's up? Good to see you, Rockfin. Rockfin's awake. Rockfin beat YouTube, actually. Rockfin was first. So, hmm. All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Shout out to our friends over at Indie Left who help make this show possible. You can check them out over at independentleft.media. What they do is they curate all the news, articles, streamers, video creators that you know and love. And they curate a list for you. They update it twice a day to find out everything they got going on and to subscribe to their Discord community. Check them out at independentleft.media. That's independentleft.media. All right. Before we get started with a couple headlines today, I got to make an announcement first. As some of you know, I think a lot of you probably know, YouTube gave me a hell of a time on Thursday and throughout the weekend, and even up until a couple minutes ago, if you can believe it. So, first, let me describe what was happening because, a lot of people kind of kind of ran with a few theories or just kind of anyway, here's what happened. So, on a YouTube account, sometimes you have a 2 point verification to verify who you are, which is totally fine. Here's what was happening to me, though. I would go to verify that it's me, and they would just lock me out of my account. They'd be like, "We don't know if it's you or not." And I'm like, "Well, give me a chance to freaking verify," because they do it, via your email, via your phone. And so they wouldn't let me do it. So when I responded and I said I'm locked out of my account, which I was, because they wouldn't, I would hit proceed and they would just lock me out. And that's happened before. And when it happened the first time, it just kept happening. I thought it was just a bug. Tried like an hour later, still going. So contacted the help center, still going. Then finally I tweeted at them and it got fixed. So this time was kind of the same story, just took a lot longer. I tweeted at them. I'm like, "Hey, I'm locked out of my account." Team YouTube responded to me and they said, "Well, it looks like your account is active." And it's like, "Yeah, it's me trying to get in." Like they were like, "Your account's active." It's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get in. I can't do anything because you won't let me verify that it's me. You won't let me do it." They're like, "Well, verification." It's like, I know what verification is. You won't let me do it. I mean, I even got a response from them this morning, and they were like, "Yeah, I know that the two-step verification thing's kind of a pain in the butt. Here's how it works. Hope that helps." No, that doesn't help because I know how it works. I know how to do it. You're not letting me do it. And I sent them the screenshots. I'm like, I hit proceed, and then this happens. And the same thing happened this morning. Finally, after I emailed them again, and this was literally about like 20 minutes ago. In fact, let me check. I can actually tell you. Let me look. I can tell you how long ago I sent another email to them because it was doing the same thing. I sent them an email at let's see. Hold on. Let me check my sent messages here. Like 20 minutes ago. Literally 20 minutes ago, I sent them another thing with the screenshots again saying this is what I click proceed and then it locks me out of my account. And then finally I was able to get in. It let me verify I was able to get in. So I don't know if this is just gonna be a thing that happens all the freaking time. Again, this isn't like these are common procedural things that they have, but they're doing it to me all the time, or at least they have been since Thursday, and they're saying it's a different device. It isn't, and then they're not letting me verify. They're just locking me out. So this is a hell of a bug. A hell of a bug. And it keeps happening. So what I'm gonna do, and here's what's going to happen, and this isn't a definitive thing yet, so please bear with me, and I appreciate you understanding. I've been going through this shit for the past 4 days, or I guess what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, going on 5 days now. Thursday stream was canceled. Um, and today's stream, I almost, I was locked out up until like 20 minutes ago when I was finally able to get in. And my settings are always changed on YouTube. So if I'm locked out and I just stream through, through the streaming service I use, I can still technically get on YouTube, but it may or may not be a public stream. Chat will be disabled because I have to turn on my chat every single time I stream. Even though I save the settings, my chat's always disabled whenever I have to reset it. So, yeah. Um, it's been a time. So that's what happened. I was locked out. My account I was just locked out. I couldn't do anything. And for some reason, I wasn't having problems on my phone. Like if I uploaded something from my phone, I could do that. But when I would go to stream from my laptop, I couldn't do that or do anything else from my laptop. Couldn't do that. So that's what happened. And it went on for days. It would be resolved. Then it would happen again. All of a sudden, they'd let me verify. Then I'd log in again. And they're like, oh, wait, no, we can't verify you. And by the way, we need to do this again for some reason. So what I am going to do over the next month, or this month rather, like my goal in the month of October is I am going to figure out a way to make what I do here just a less YouTube centric thing. Right now, and this comes, this goes out on Twitter, it goes out on Rockfin, it goes out on YouTube, and then it's an audio podcast later. So there's a number of ways to get your news on with Ron. And over the next month, or over this month, you know what I mean? I am going to find a way to make this less YouTube centric because I just, it's just incredibly frustrating. And I'm not going to deal with it all the fucking time. I'm just not, like there's other ways to do this show, to go about this show. So I'm going to start exploring that. And some of you, a lot of you rely on YouTube to get this content, which I understand. So it's not like I'm leaving YouTube per se. I'm just trying to figure out a way to make this show less YouTube centric. And and I'll know more later this month. I mean, I'm still going to be active this month. I'm still, like Savage Joy is going to be on the show tomorrow. She was scheduled. Like I'm still going to be doing stuff. We may or may not be on YouTube. Who knows? I mean, every day, who knows? I may get blocked out again tomorrow, and I won't be able to get back in before the show's supposed to start. Who knows? But that show will happen tomorrow. But throughout the course of October, I'm going to figure out a way to make this show just less of a YouTube centric thing. Now, some of you have expressed, gee, Ron, I really rely on YouTube to get your show, but I never get announcements. I never get notifications. I never get anything when you're going live. Well, here's the deal, folks. What I've decided to do for sure, this is going to happen no matter what, and this is going to start happening very soon. Every single thing I do is going to be posted on my Patreon. Every single thing I do is going to be posted on Rockfin and on Patreon. So even if it's just something that's just public, just regular content, not the additional content that patrons pay for, it's still going to be posted on Patreon. Every single thing. So all the, all the patron only stuff will still be posted on Patreon, obviously, but also just all the regular stuff too will be posted. Those links will be posted on Patreon. So you can get it directly from Patreon. So if you want to make sure you get everything I'm putting out there and you don't want to miss anything, please consider it. My Patreon is a pay what you can level. So even $1 a month is all it takes. So, I know things are tight, but if you're thinking, okay, I got an extra $1 a month, and this way I'm not going to have to worry about YouTube messing with Ron. I'm just going to get all of his stuff, and I'm never going to have to worry. Patreon, best way to do it. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. All of my stuff is just going to be there from now on. Because some patrons have even said, Ron, I don't get notifications. I rely on YouTube, but I'm not getting notifications. So you know what? That shouldn't be a problem. So I'm just going to, everything I do the streaming service I use allows me to pre-record anything. So I'm just going to drop everything on the Patreon. So if you're watching this, and people have emailed me since this has happened, and they're like, Ron, what can we do to help? What can we do to support? Best way to support what I do, patreon.com/Romplacone. Become a patron. Even $1 a month goes a long way. And again, this way you're getting everything. You're getting everything. So yeah, patreon.com/Romplacone. And if you don't want to do Patreon, Rockfin, same deal. All my stuff on Rockfin. And you can be a Rockfin premium member. You can tip on Rockfin. And all the stuff I post on whatchamacallit. All the stuff I post on Patreon, I also post on Rockfin Premium and just regular Rockfin too. So you'll be able to get everything on Rockfin as well. So patreon.com/Romplacone or Rockfin Premium. All of that is just going to be available from now on. That's one thing that is for sure. I'm just going to make sure everything's already been on Rockfin. But now every stream I do, that link's going on the Patreon. Even if it's just a regular stream, it's going on the Patreon. So that way, no one's going to miss anything ever. And God damn it, what a headache. So I appreciate y'all understanding. I appreciate your all's patience. I appreciate all the kindness and well wishes I got on Thursday and throughout the weekend. Lucy is doing better. She's not quite out of the woods yet, but she is doing a lot better. I know a lot of you ask about her, so I'll give a quick update on her too. She's chilling on the chair right next to me. She is doing significantly better. I think she's having a little bit of problems with something in her diet, but I'm not sure what. So she does have a follow-up checkup today. We're going to try to get to the bottom of all that, but she is doing a lot better. So yeah, that's the announcement. And I'll have a bigger announcement later this month because I'm going to spend some time, with my thinking cap on, figuring out, okay, Get Your News On with Ron is not going to go anywhere, but it is going to become a less YouTube centric project. That's going to happen. Maybe it'll be one of those things where I do more short videos. Because again, I haven't had any problems on my phone. On my phone, it's fine. So maybe I'll just do more shorts and then maybe just do like 1 or 2 streams a week where it's just like, instead of doing a couple headlines a day, it'll be all the headlines later in the week. And then I'll just have a special guest that I interview. I'm not sure yet. I don't have anything like cast in stone there. The only thing I know for sure right now, Get Your News On with Ron is going to change to make it less YouTube centric. And everything that I post, everything that I do, every short, every stream, everything is going to be on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. So again, patreon.com/Romplacone. You can join for as low as $1 a month. So, if you won't miss $1 each month, please consider it. Patreon.com/Romplacone. That way you get everything without the bullshit. So there you go. Let's go to a couple headlines, guys. Again, I wasn't sure this show was going to happen until like a minute before it did because I was locked out again. I was locked out up until like 20 minutes ago. And again, it's the verification, but they won't let me do it. So later this month, I will have a definitive announcement saying this is how Get Your News On with Ron is going to happen from now on. This is the change that's going to happen. And until then, I'm still going to be active. The stuff that I have on the books, I'm still going to honor. But later this month, there will be some more definitive, this is how Get Your News On with Ron is going to happen from now on. We're still going to be on. It's not like we're leaving YouTube per se. We're just going to be more available on other platforms too, and we're going to be less YouTube centric, if that makes sense. Which I think it will, once I figure out exactly how to do it. And so we may take a little hiatus at some point in the month. I may be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I got to get ready for the transition. So the show's going to be off for a week or 2, maybe even. But that's what's going to happen. So this show is not going to keep going the way it is because this is just bullshit. And so there you go. But it's still going to happen. I'm not going to let YouTube's bullshit like end my show. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to fucking do that. So yeah. There we go. All right, moving on. Here's some stuff. Check this out, guys. Catastrophic California oil spill kills fish and damages wetlands. This is in Huntington Beach, California, right near where I live. A large oil spill off the southern California coast left fish dead, birds mired in petroleum, and wetlands contaminated in what local fish officials called an environmental catastrophe. Yeah, I'd say that qualifies. I'd say catastrophe works there. This is from Reuters, by the way. The U.S. Coast Guard, heading a cleanup response involving federal, state, and city agencies on Sunday, announced a round-the-clock investigation into how the spill occurred. Don't you just love how they? So it's a huge spill off the Huntington Beach coast, which we're going to be looking at it. 126,000 gallons, 3,000 barrels into the ocean. We're going to be looking at some footage here in a second, but before we do that, don't you just love how every time there's a spill, they always do the same thing where they're just like, we're trying to explore how it happened. We don't know. It's like they try to make it out like it's not a thing that regularly happens. Oil spills happen constantly, leaks happen constantly. They try, and there's a ton that we don't even hear about. Again, 2011, I did a media ecology study in my graduate degree about the Marcellus Shale and the media coverage of it in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is where I was going to school and where I'm from. The Marcellus Shale is one of the largest shale formations where they're drilling for they're fracking and drilling for natural gas. Um, in my study in 2011, I found out that over 2,800 violations were committed by the oil and gas industry. Not many of those were reported on. 2,800, folks. So leaks happen all the time, spills happen all the time. A lot of these go underreported or just not reported at all. And every time something does happen that makes the news, they're like, "Wait, we're trying to explore how this happened. We're wondering how it happened." You know what we think? We think that Bob fell asleep and accidentally hit the spill button. Poor Bob. He was in the control room. He dozed off, hit the spill button. Silly Bob. We're starting a coffee fund for Bob. Get Bob some coffee so he doesn't hit the spill button again. Spoiler alert, everybody. You know what caused this? You know what caused the spill? The fact that we're still on fossil fuels. That's what caused the spill. We're still on fossil fuels. We need to get off of it now. We need to end it now. That there's no there's no middle ground. There's no incremental no. There's nothing pragmatic about an incremental solution for a catastrophic problem. There is a time for incrementalism. I'll give you an example of when incrementalism works. I'm making a movie. GoFundMe, left it wall. I'm making a movie. I'm in the middle of raising the funds for that movie. So we're making it incrementally. We're making it as we go. That's a time where incrementalism is appropriate. Ron's making a movie and he's raising the funds for it. So he's incrementally making the movie. Incrementalism works there. Here's a situation where incrementalism doesn't work. The fucking climate collapsing. There you go. Doesn't work there. Doesn't work there. Oil destroying wildlife, destroying the oceans because it spills constantly. Oh, I wonder what happened. No, it's because we're still on fossil fuels. That's why it happened. End of story. And we need to get off of it immediately. We need to end the fossil fuel industry immediately. There is no in between. There is no. What do you think is going to? I know everyone's like, the idea is very big. I get that, but what do you think? Do you really think if we end fossil fuels, we're all just going to live like we're Amish for the rest of the days? That's not going to happen. I promise you, that's not going to happen. Like, oh, we got off fossil fuels and now we all just ride scooters everywhere. That's not going to freaking happen. They're going to come up with solutions. They're going to come up with solutions via air, via ship, via railways, via electric cars. They will come up with sustainable solutions. And you know what? The quicker we get off fossil fuels, the quicker those solutions will be there. I don't know what exactly all those solutions are. I don't think any of us do. But I can promise you, we're not going to live like primitive. We're not going to be riding horses around. They're going to come up with sustainable solutions. At least a hell of a lot more sustainable than what we have now. So that's what's going on. So we need to get off fossil fuels immediately. And let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this spill that they're wondering how it happened. How it happened. We know how it happened. We're still on fossil fuels. That's how it freaking happened. Take a look at some of this stuff. Here, check this out. This is from a reporter. Like, look at that. Look at how gross that is. That's just oil on the sand. Look at, I mean, just all that tar, and it's just right on the sand. And shout out to all, like, there's already been some cleanup efforts, which is awesome to see. But look at that. Oh, and here, check this out. This is another interesting thing. So sometimes they put out oil booms to like kind of capture the oil in the water, but check it out. They don't work that well. Here, look at this. Look at this boom and all the oil that's escaping anyway. Look at this. Look at how gross that is. Look at all that oil just seeping out. That is disgusting. Does this look sustainable to anybody? Does this seem like we can't possibly do better than this? Does anyone get that vibe from watching this? Looking at this sludge in the ocean? I don't see how anyone can live anywhere, but especially in a place like California, and not just despise capitalism with every fiber of their being. I tweeted that yesterday. I mean, you look at California is such a beautiful place, and the climate is so incredible. It really is. I mean, it's just sunny and beautiful every day. It's amazing. It's amazing, and there's so much beauty to it. Yet capitalism is destroying it. These beautiful coastlines that are being destroyed. And I know that's happening everywhere. I know California is not unique in that regard, but California is just such a, I mean, it is like the ultimate example of all that. You know what I mean? Of just this beautiful, amazing place. Ugh. And it's so gross to see. It's so gross to see. So I later the news is going to drop what caused the spill, but hey, you heard it here first, folks. You know what caused the spill? We're not off fossil fuels. That's what caused the spill. Because spills happen all the fucking time, and we don't even hear about all of them. 1 year, I did a study, 2,800. And all this information is available, by the way. You can find it. They need to report it. The EPA needs to report this stuff. But unless, who's going to find that stuff unless you're doing some grad school study on the media ecology around fracking? I was probably the only person in the fucking state that looked that shit up because the news doesn't talk about it much. And when they do, they're like, well, we're wondering what caused this. This just, instead of saying, yeah, this happens all the time, maybe we should do something. They're trying to figure out what caused the spill. This doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, it fucking does. No, I mean, I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. Yeah, they spill because they're not built well and because we shouldn't be doing this. It's fucking dangerous. We shouldn't be doing this. We need to be off fossil fuels. We needed to be off fossil fuels yesterday. So spills always happen. What caused it? Ear fucking relevant. What caused it? We're on fossil fuels. That's what caused it. All right. Let's get some good news out of California. We got some bad news out of California. Now we got some freaking good news. And this is right in California. And this pertains to a guest on the show. Some of you may remember, now this was a while ago. Some of you may remember Melissa Michelson. She is an activist in the LA area. She was on this show talking about a proposed project in the Alhambra area. Now, Alhambra is a community kind of east of LA. It's actually near where I used to live in Pasadena. And they were going to put in all these luxury condos, and, that space could have been used for other things. That space was supposed to be used, could have been used for affordable housing and other developments. But instead, they were just going to put in luxury condos. It was going to screw over traffic. It was going to screw over zoning. It was going to screw over a bunch of people who already lived there. It was going to price people out of the area. It was a bad idea. And Melissa came on this show to talk about the grassroots effort that she was fostering and participating in, to try to rally city council people to vote it down, to try to rally, the city government to go against the proposed developers and not allow this to happen. She came on the show to talk about this a while ago. It was months ago at this point. In fact, it may have even been almost a year ago. Well, guess what, folks? That fight has concluded. What happened at Alhambra City Council on September 30th, 2021? Who do you think won? Here's from the ColoradoBoulevard.net, a local outlet in the area. And this is written by Melissa. Wayne Rakovich made a 2-minute appearance at last night's City Council Zoom meeting before the 5 council members unanimously voted to deny his application for the villages. We won one, folks. We won this one. The villages, that's the development. Alhambra's single largest residential development that would have been built on Fremont Avenue, one of Alhambra's busiest thoroughfares, and on land that has been designated by the Environmental Protection Agency as Superfund. Oh, that's the other thing. There were a bunch of environmental hazards with them building here. Recent soil samples reveal contamination in every building and site tested. Wonderful, right? Well, guess what? The developers lost, and the grassroots won. Unanimous vote. Which goes to show you when you act locally, that's when you can win. You're not guaranteed to win. Corruption still happens at the local level. Hell yeah. And a lot of local government is just a bunch of developers. Why do you think that is? Why do you think a bunch of local government is a bunch of real estate developers? So that they can do shit like that in Alhambra and go unchecked. Because they know there's power in local government. They know that. So they get their real estate developer buddies to become mayor and city council members because they know the power that they wield. And if regular people realized that and really made an effort in community involvement, and not just on the electoral end, but in activism, in protest, in organizing, in talking to your neighbors, that's what Melissa did. She went out, she knocked on doors, she'd rally people. She said, this development is bad for our community. Here's why. And she got the community in unison to say no. And they talked to council people too. And some of the council people were against it right away, where they said, yeah, this is bad. We don't want this in our community. And they talked to the others and brought them on board. And they won. We can still win in our communities, folks. It's possible. Is it still hard? Hell yeah. And, the way I see it, that's how we got to fix this place. Literally one neighborhood at a time. One neighborhood at a time. And, you guys know me. I'm not an electoral guy. Like that's not, I don't care for it. I'm very, very, very jaded towards it. But for other people, it's a good lane for them. And that's fine. It takes everybody. It takes people who are going to run for office. It takes people who are not involved in electoralism. It takes people who are organizing strikes and protests and mutual aid efforts. It takes people to create content. It takes people to be boots on the ground reporting. It takes people to, you get the idea. It takes everybody. And if electoralism's your thing, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my thing. And if electoralism is your thing, maybe instead of Congress or Senate, what about city council? What about mayor? What about school board? You can do a lot there, actually. Look at Shama Zuwant. Look at what she's been able to do in Seattle. And I'm just saying, I know that another election season is coming up soon. Before you know it, it's going to be 2022. We're going to be doing the 2022 election season very soon because it's pretty much always election season in the United States. It's a great system, folks. It's not screwed up at all. But and I swear I will get a lot of emails of people wanting to be on the show, which is totally fine. And I try to get to as many as I can. I don't get to. It's just not possible for me to get to everyone, to schedule everyone, especially since, I'm going to be changing the format of this show and the way streams are conducted anyway. But I tell you, and I know I've said this before, you've heard me say it. I just wish for every 10 people who told me about I'm running in district such and such to try to unseat this, either this corporate Democrat who has a bunch of money, or even people running as Greens or MPP or whatever. I just wish for every 10 emails of those I got maybe 2 emails of somebody saying, I'm trying to get on city council because here's what I know I can do locally. I'm trying to become mayor because here's what I know I can do locally. I'm trying to get on. I just wish that maybe like 10%, folks. 10% are people realizing that, hey, I get it. Local's not as sexy. I get that. It's not as sexy as trying to get into Congress, as trying to get into the Senate. I know it's less sexy. Totally. Wait, I get it. But what you can do is sexy AF, bro. It's super sexy what you can do. Because you can really take back your community and you can really make your community better. The real estate developers realize it. They know that. They know that. So it's time for us to realize that too. It's time for us to realize that too. I'm not saying don't run for Congress. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying let's not forget about local. Our priorities are back here in the United States. We the way we go about voting is just completely freaking like we make it out like presidential is this like holy grail, like, oh, if you don't vote for president, you have no right to complain, which is a bunch of bullshit. And then we make it out like midterms are like by far the second most important thing, and that local, it's like who even knows when their local elections are. And by the way, I'm guilty of this. I need to look it up all the time. I need to remember, oh shit, when do I have to go vote? I mean, I'm guilty of it too because I'm in the same society as everyone else. You have to dig for it. Our priorities, it should be the complete opposite. It should go local number 1, midterms number 2, and president like number 3. Because like really, that's how much influence you have. That's the order of influence you have. I mean, especially, and I live in I don't like to call anything a safe state because I don't think there's anything safe about the Electoral College. So I don't use the word safe state when talking about anything. I like to use the phrase decided state. I live in a decided state. I live in California. That state is going to be blue. So my vote, I vote third party, and I'm voting for third party, hoping that they get to 5% so that they get federal funding. So my vote for president, it doesn't really do much. It really doesn't. Unless one of those third party gets to 5%, then it would do a lot. But you get what I'm saying. But you're showing up locally, that's a lot. And showing up in the midterms when there's some propositions out there that you might want to see become law, that's when it matters so much freaking more. So much more. So look, if you're watching this, electoralism's your bag. Consider city council, consider school board, consider mayor. I know it's not as sexy. It's not as sexy. But there's so much you can do. Lucy agrees. She's coming over to say hi. Hey, sweetie. Do you hear her? I don't know if you can hear her. But she's meowing. Hey, you. Something's up with her tummy. And we got to figure it out. So, I'm a little worried about her. You know me. I worry about her. I know, Lucy. I'm talking about you. You going to jump up here? I hope you do. I like it when you jump up and say hi to everybody. You in the mood? Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's my girl. How you feeling? You're going to be really angry later because you have to go to the vet. And you really, really hate the vet. I don't think there's anything you hate more. Yeah, so, but you have to go, Lucy. We got to make sure that your medicine's working, and we got to figure out what's upsetting your tummy. We got to figure that out. So we're going to figure that out. And then things will be even better, huh? She's my girl. It's my special girl. By the way, I'm talking about how some changes are going to happen. One change that also really needs to happen. The Lucy and Ron comic. I got to bring it back. I miss it. I freaking miss it. And if you haven't checked that out yet, lucyandron.com, please do check it out. Um, I miss making that comic. We had to put it on hiatus because the illustrator got busy with other things. And but I'm gonna figure out a way to bring it back. That's on my to-do list. I miss that comic. So congratulations, Melissa. And this just shows locally you can win, folks. You can win. Let me go to the chat. I'll start at Rockfin. What's up, Edwin? How you doing, buddy? Edwin, I hope all's well, and I hope you enjoyed my listener suggestions. I recommended some music on the last patron stream we had to Edwin. It was inevitable to leave YouTube, Edwin says. I hope other viewers join Rockfin. It's a good place to try. Good luck, Ron. Thank you so much for that, Edwin. And again, I'm not going to like leave YouTube per se. I'm just going to be more available other places too. And I'm going to try to go about the stream a different way. It's going to be, this show was kind of built around YouTube. That's what's going to change. So the audio podcast will still be there. Rockfin will still be there. YouTube will still be there. We're just going to tweak it so that it's easier to orchestrate and it's not as reliant on YouTube. And again, one thing that's for sure, everything's going to be on Patreon. From now on, I'm making everything on Patreon. So, if you don't want to miss anything, patreon.com/RonPlacone. And all it takes is $1 a month. If you're comfortable giving more than that, that's great. You help keep the show on the air no matter what. But, if $1 a month, if you're like, hey, I can spare $1 a month and it makes my life easier. I don't have to worry about notifications. I don't have to worry about YouTube messing with Ron. I know no matter what, every piece of content he puts out and then some, I'm getting. You're getting all the exclusive Patreon stuff, obviously, and you're getting everything else. You're just getting everything. It's just a one-stop shop. Boom. Before, I was just posting the patron-specific content on Patreon, but now I'm going to start posting everything. You guys get it. Broen Vessel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Broen Vestal. Came in late, Ron. Are you okay? Thank you for asking. That's very thoughtful of you. Yes, I am okay. Thursday was really fucking annoying. It was really, really fucking annoying. And people said all kinds of things about me. Like some people accuse me of spreading anti-vaxxer content, which I've never done. That's just never happened. I'm vaccinated. I have never created any anti-vaxxer content. It simply doesn't exist. I mean, what more can you say? That's like that's never happened. I've never done that. I'm vaccinated. I've just not done what you're accusing me of. I don't hold those views, so why would I make content about views that I don't have? I've talked about our testing crisis, that's like, I mean, all kinds of outlets have talked about that. We have a very, I mean, here, look, I can even, here, let me pull this up. I wanted to show this to people. Because we have a testing crisis. I don't know if you guys realize that, but we're really doing a bad job here in the United States. That's not some controversial idea. That's a fact. Like that is here. I want to share this thing that I retweeted. Here, check this out. Look at this. This is from England. My sister lives in London. This is her stockpile of free tests. Her son's school tried to give her more today. She declined. Each box has 7 tests. She has 16 boxes, 112 tests. So people out in England, they have about 100 some tests that they can take at home, provided to them free of charge. Free of charge. They're just giving these tests like, hey, if you need to test, we want you to be able to test. Here in the United States, getting a test ranges between $12 and $40. And you got to find an appointment. When I needed to take a test, it cost me $30. I was able to do it that day, but I had to dig. I really had to dig. In England, 116 tests. People in England, just general people, have kids at school. Here's boxes. And they provide it free to everyone. If you don't have kids in school, you still have a bunch of free tests. Most countries all countries in the EU tests are either free or sometimes they're $1, and they're everywhere. And Denmark, they were testing teachers twice a week. Twice a week, they were testing teachers. It was everywhere. It was available to make sure no one had COVID and then was potentially spreading it to school children. We didn't take those kind of precautions in the United States, at least not to the extent other places did. And a quarter of all of our new cases are school children. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I talk about that. Um, so anyway, to answer your question, yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. YouTube has just been messing with me. They'll tell me to verify. I go to verify. They lock me out of my account, and I'm gonna be working on a permanent fix for it. And by permanent fix, I mean I'm gonna kind of change the way I conduct this show so that it is less YouTube centric. Um, I know that a lot of people rely on YouTube, so I'm not gonna leave YouTube entirely. I'm just gonna do more shorts. I'm gonna do more like concentrated streams. Like again, I think instead of doing, maybe I'll do it where I do one big stream where I do all the headlines of the week. We'll figure it out. And for those of you who are like, gee, I'm worried I won't get notifications again, patreon.com/romplacone. I'm posting everything there and on Rockfin. So yeah, that's that. So Bro and Bestel, thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Yes, I am okay. And Edwin, thank you very much. And I hope you've been enjoying some of the music I've been recommending. Thank you guys for your contributions. You help keep this show on the air. And again, in closing, shout out to Melissa Michelson in Alhambra. The people won. I know that the news is so freaking depressing. And I know that, I mean, this oil spill is so freaking depressing. But, nice to have a positive headline today. And let's make more of those positive headlines. Let's make more positive headlines in our communities and in our neighborhoods, because that's one place where we can. That's one place where we can make positive headlines. So let's do it. And thank you all for being part of this. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your love and support, especially over the past few days. I appreciate it a lot. It's been a weird time for me. It has been a weird time. And I guess some of you are trying to send super chats. I only got one. So if some of you are trying to send more, I only got one. I got the one from Roland Bessel. That's it. So you guys, you might be trying to send more super chats. I'm not getting them. That's totally possible. That also happens all the time. Again, the best way to support this show on the sustainability end is to become a patron, patreon.com/RobLacone, where you will get everything. Oh, and also I have the tipping feature on Twitter now. I did set up the tips on Twitter. So for those of you who check the show out on Twitter, you can tip. And eventually I'll be able to accept crypto too. I don't have that set up yet. But for now, I got my Venmo in there. I got my Patreon in there. So you can sign up right through Twitter. Go to the Twitter tips and you can sign up right through there and join my Patreon. You can also contribute to my movie, Left at Wall. So you can do all that right there, which is, kind of cool. That's all on Twitter now. And Facebook, I think Facebook and Instagram are down. Oh, well. Oh, well. So yeah, there are plenty of ways to support this show outside of YouTube. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen this month. I'm going to figure out a way to make this a less YouTube centric project. But we're still all the stuff that on this show that you look forward to on the show. It's not going anywhere. It's totally here. I know, Lucy. I know. We're just going to be less YouTube centric. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your support. And the drill in the meantime. Lucy, she says meow. She says meow, and I'm going to be pissed off later. I'm going to the vet. I don't like she probably knows that word. I probably shouldn't say it. She seriously looked away as soon as I said that. She's like, what the fuck did he just say? She has to go, though. It's for her own good. I know cats don't understand that. But she has to go. I don't like taking you there. I know you don't like it. You have to. Anyway, Lucy, she says meow, and I say peace. I say peace, love, and a general strike. And YouTube, I'll be seeing less of you. I'll be seeing more other content. All right. Peace, love, and a general strike. Thank you all very much. See you later.